Good morning and welcome to Q&A Wednesday with Elisa James, voice and presentation coach. I'm a little bit late today because we had some technical issues with StreamYard. They were having some problems with their server apparently, but we are live. Now I'm streaming live to my YouTube channel, The Voice of Confidence TV, and also streaming live in Facebook. Now the reason I'm telling you this is because you have two chances, two platforms to ask me a question. Now, most of the time when I come on Wednesdays, my goal is to answer questions from my fans and my followers in anything that's voice and presentation related. So I've gone to my YouTube channel this morning and I've looked at the 3 top comments. Now I get thousands and thousands of comments. I can't answer everybody, but I will answer these 3 today that are very pressing and important. And they're all around voice and presentation skills. So if you would like to be involved in this live cast, all you have to do is comment below. I will show it on the screen if it's clean, if it's non-political, and it's not weird. We had some weird things going on last week, and I'm going to have to delete that broadcast because of that. So make sure that you are respectful and polite at all times. They are the rules. Otherwise, you get booted off my channel, never to be seen again. I'm here to serve, not to slander. Okay, now let's see who is here. Hello, Chris from Belgium. It's lovely to have you here. It's nice to have you here indeed. I'm so glad that you've joined the class and you're going to join us in our mission to create a better world, one message at a time. So let's dive in today. You're watching this live on the Voice of Confidence TV on YouTube and also inside my Facebook group, Find Your Voice Aspiring Speakers Club. Now today, this is the first question. A young lady on my channel is, actually, I don't even know if it's a lady. I'm presuming, aren't I? I'm not presuming anything. Okay, so LR is asking on my channel. It happens to me every week. I lose my voice. I blame it on coughing from asthma and early mornings. Okay, so let's dive into that. I hear you and I completely understand what that's like. I have had asthma, LR, for most of my life. I'm a past very bad asthmatic. Nowadays, being in my 50s and I'm much stronger, my immune system is better. I figured out how to work with my body. It doesn't bother me so much anymore. So here is what I would suggest for you. The very first thing that you need to do is buy an air purifier, a really high quality air purifier. That one little thing, when I moved back to Australia, absolutely saved my ass. Like, no kidding. When I came back to Australia, I'd been living overseas for 20 years. And for whatever reason, all over Europe and in America, all over America, I had no allergies, no asthma, no hay fever, no allergic rhinitis. It was weird. I was obviously not as allergic and sensitive to things in other countries. But when I moved back to Australia about 8 years ago now, I suddenly got hit with all the things that I grew up with that made me so sick. All of the pollens, the dust mites, whatever it was in this country, I was severely allergic to all of that. I was this close because I was in and out of hospital for the first year consistently. They didn't know how to get my oxygen levels back up. It was just a nightmare. Then I did some research and I thought, okay, I have 2 choices. I have to figure out how to make this work in this country, or I'm going to have to leave. I'm going to have to go back to America. That's what I honestly thought at the time. Well, after I did a bunch of research, I found an amazing company in Brisbane called Oz Climate. Now, if you're not in Australia, just look it up on Google and see what you've got near you. I bought, after many hours of research, the best air filtration system, the best air purifier that I could buy. It stood yay high on the ground. You plugged it in, you could wheel it between rooms. It was a big device, like a big portable air conditioner type of thing. But the filter was so good for asthmatics that it filtered out 99.97 of all the bacteria, the germs, the pet dander, all of that, the dust mites. It filtered out all of that from the air and allowed me to sleep and rest. So when you buy an air filtration system, I highly recommend you use it this way. This is what was recommended to me. You put it on when you go to bed. You close all the doors and the windows so the air inside the room is being completely cleaned and cleansed by this device, and you leave it going for 8 hours. See, the thing is that a lot of people don't realize is that between the hours of 10 and 2 a.m., our body is actually detoxifying and healing itself from germs and harm that we do during the day. So it's really important that you get some rest and rehabilitation during that rest time. So highly recommend that the step number 1 is buy a really good air filtration system. That will help you stop the coughing too. So another thing is the reason, of course, if you're coughing from asthma or allergies, you've got to first take away all the allergens in your environment, and then you can address the cough or you can minimize the coughing. That's 2 ways that we need to think about this. A, what's in the air that you're breathing in, that will be taken care of by that air filtration system. The second thing is, what am I eating and drinking that's exacerbating my asthma and my hay fever? For me, I had to go through a period of my time where I started to eliminate everything. So I eliminated dairy, I eliminated all gluten and wheat products. I eliminated lots of things in time and then put them back in. I found that I was highly allergic to soy, which was interesting because I grew up on soy because I was allergic to milk. And I was also still sensitive and allergic to milk. And I'm very gluten sensitive as well, and very fat sensitive and protein sensitive, lots of things. Anyway, I had to figure out all of that so my system could calm down. Now, when my system calmed down, then I could produce less mucus, I would cough less, and it started to be much better behaved. Now, just one last thing on this topic, because this could be a problem for you as well, Ella. I thought that it was my asthma playing up a couple of years ago when I had a resurgence of some of my symptoms, especially the coughing that you're talking about and that constant clearing of the throat with lots of mucus. But then I realized I also had silent reflux in the play. When I had silent reflux, which is that acid reflux that comes up that you don't even notice, but it creates havoc with your voice. When you have that, it interferes with your voice and makes you cough and exacerbates your asthma. All these things were brand new to me, and I had to go along this path to really learn how to manage all these symptoms. So I want you to really start to work on a food journal. This is the most important thing for you. Write everything you eat and drink down and start to figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. At nighttime, see if you're getting acid reflux and that makes you cough, because that could be a reason for the coughing. And then in the morning, do some steaming. Just breathe in some hot air into your lungs and your vocal folds, and that will help them calm down. So I hope you found that very helpful. Please, ALR, post underneath this video on YouTube, underneath my channel, to make sure that you let me know that you saw the replay. And those are the 3 things that I suggest. The air filtration system to get rid of your asthma or to manage it. Number 2, keep a food journal to make sure that you know what's upsetting your system and creating those allergies, which exacerbate the asthma. And number 3 is see if you have any silent reflux, because that will exacerbate the asthma and the coughing as well. And the bottom line is, when we're coughing, and doing that to our vocal folds, of course you're going to be hoarse, and of course you're going to lose your voice. It's way too much banging together. It causes a lot of inflammation around the vocal folds. So we have to look at our health. That's why, as a holistic voice coach with 2 master's degrees, 1 in health and 1 in voice, this is so important to me and so important to my clients. You can't deal with one without the other. You really need to get a handle on what you're eating and drinking and what you're breathing in, the thoughts that you think, the way that you're using your muscles for powering your voice. There's so much to think about, and you can do this. Don't give up. Okay. Number 2. Let's have a look here. Joe. So Joe is a singer, and he says he's lost some control over the voice since having COVID. It's really strange. I hope it comes back. Yes. Now, Joe, I did do a video on my channel regarding how to get your voice back after COVID. So specifically COVID and other respiratory ailments, you'll see probably 2 videos on my channel, The Voice of Confidence TV, where you've left this message. You will find 2 videos to help you, but let's dive into some things that you can do. The problem with any respiratory function disorder is that it's damaging the airway. Now, the airway, of course, the lungs specifically, and the muscles around the respiratory function power the voice. So this is a little overview of how the voice works, just in case this is going to help you understand a little bit better why you lose your voice after COVID and after respiratory ailments. It's usually due to a few different things. Number one, if our lungs have been damaged, they can't open and expand to the degree that they probably could have before if there's scar tissue involved. When there's scar tissue on anything, if you've ever cut yourself, you'll notice that when you have a scar, it becomes quite thick and non-stretchy. When you have a scar inside your body or on your vocal folds, it's exactly the same. You can't stretch scar tissue. It doesn't work. It's not movable or malleable like the rest of our skin. This is a huge problem. So if your lungs aren't stretching and expanding, that's going to be an issue for you. So here's what I suggest. You do some straw work first and foremost to try to increase that lung capacity and increase the strength of the muscles that drive the airflow. See, what I want you to understand is this. All asthmatics, and I know that this is not an asthma thing, but bear with me for a second. All asthmatics have a compromised lung function because of their asthma and the inflammation of the airways consistently. That can cause scarring of that whole area. Now, when I was getting tested for asthma consistently all the way through my life, I had to blow into the tubes and get measured for oxygen levels. Every single time I did that, the examiner would say, "Your lungs are really good for an asthmatic. Are you a swimmer?" And I would say, "No, I'm a singer." And he said, that's why. You see, when we're actively working on our respiratory function to improve it and strengthen it, it will strengthen your vocal process. Here's why. It's not about the airflow that you take in. Please write that down. It's not about the amount of airflow that we can take in. It's about the amount of airflow we can power under pressure on the way out. So for example, if I take a tiny little breath in because my lungs are not good enough to take a big one, I'm holding my breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I can still easily count to 20 with taking the smallest sip because my muscles that power my voice are active. When people don't know how to use their voice, it's very hard for them to power that voice effectively. That's why one of the biggest things I do as a voice coach is teach people how to power their system. Because when there's a problem, the system doesn't work and we blame it on the voice. But a lot of the time it's something else that causes a problem, not the actual vocal folds. Now, that said, Joe, as a singer, excuse me, as a singer, if you were coughing, sorry, I've got some phlegm. Joe, as a singer, if you were coughing and banging those vocal folds together a lot when you were sick, that's going to give inflammation and some damage to the vocal folds. When that happens, it's going to be very hard for you to actually make that beautiful mucosal wave. That's going to hold you back for a little bit. So what I suggest is that you do some straw work. Look it up on my channel in the COVID rehabilitation video that you'll find, and also getting what to do after you're sick and you want to rehabilitate your voice. Look for those 2 videos. I will find them for you and place them underneath your comments so you know exactly where to find them. But in those videos, I show you how to do straw work, which is absolutely imperative for all singers and speakers. Imperative that you do straw work. And the second thing is steaming. And the third thing is rehabilitation vocal exercises. If you need some more help around that, please just comment underneath your underneath the video, and I'll reach out to you and we can book in for a private session. Okay. Now, let's move on. So straw work, steaming, and rehabilitation is so important to get your voice back. Joe, hang in there. You will get your voice back. Actively do things towards that every single day, including meditation and mindset. Of course, spend some time building up your immunity as well. That's going to really help you reactivate those muscles and then be stronger in your whole body. Super important. So let's move on to number 3 today. This is on my channel. So this is on the Voice of Confidence TV. Every single Wednesday, I go live and helping you get over whatever voice and presentation issue that you're struggling with. So what I do on Wednesdays when I'm doing this free coaching is I choose randomly 3 comments from my channel. I look at how urgent and how those people really need help. And then I put them into the banners and I answer those questions live. So here we go. This is Karthik G. How to increase the sound of my voice. My voice is not at all audible in noisy places. Yes. Now, this can be a few things. This is a really, really good and important question. There's so many people that do, for instance, networking functions or go to a bar and it's very noisy. And if you're not being mindful of the way that you speak, you can easily lose your voice in some certain situations, especially if there's some alcohol involved, because alcohol dries out our vocal folds and makes it much harder for us to make that beautiful mucosal wave work. Okay, so you've got to watch your alcohol intake, and also watch your water intake. You must stay hydrated. Now, here are 2 things that you can absolutely do to increase the volume of your voice when you're speaking in a loud place. Number 1 is put your arms on your superpower and practice making those support system muscles, work. It's called back pressure and support. Now, you'll probably find lots of training videos on my channel. I'll find one that's pertinent to you so I can go through that training with you, and I'll pop that underneath the video here. When you're forcing your voice from your throat, you're going to lose it. When you're using the correct muscles from your respiratory function, you can support and stabilize that voice very, very well. Now, the second thing is, apart from supporting your voice with the correct muscles, is this articulation. If you're keeping your mouth shut and speaking in through your nose or not moving your lips at all, it's going to be very hard for people to watch you and follow you. You need to actually over-articulate when you're in a noisy space and face the person you're speaking to so they can lip read at the same time. That will increase the sound of your voice. The reason is this, and I went through this with one of my brand new clients yesterday in rehabilitation training. People don't realize this. Our stomach muscle, our 6-pack rectus abdominis, is our major muscle of exhalation. When we pull that tummy in and blow that air out, yay, woo, when we use that tummy properly, it powers the vocal folds into a beautiful vibration and can power that sound forward effortlessly. This is the beautiful thing about using the right muscles. But when we use the wrong muscles, we push from the throat with no powering our system with the correct muscles down below, you're going to lose your voice, or it's going to be airy and weak and nobody's going to hear you. And that's when you'll end up sounding like Ellie Goulding. Beautiful voice, but so airy. Love me like you do, la la, love me like you do. It's like there's no presence to the voice when it's too airy. So you want to use those support muscles so you can project much better and use the braking system here, your teeth, your tongue, your lips, to control and crisp up that sound. When you have a crisp, clear articulation, people can hear you better. Your voice will project much more efficiently. So that's what I challenge you to do. So we don't have any other questions this morning. If you see this as a replay, what I want you to do is put #replay underneath this video, whether this is on Facebook or on the Voice of Confidence TV, and just let me know what you're struggling with so I can shoot a video just for you. If you go to my channel, The Voice of Confidence TV, I'll just pop that on the screen right now so you can see that. If you're watching this in Facebook, go to The Voice of Confidence TV and you'll see this on replay. Put underneath #replay. Then I will see your comments and I answer 3 of those questions every single week on my live show every Wednesday. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've got some value out of this today. I would love to hear back from you and see how I can help you reach your goals. Remember, your voice matters. So speak up and be heard. I'll see you next time. Bye.